Hey there, welcome back to the SoCal Focus Show with Mike Blazer and Duncan Bravo. We took a short break and now we're back. There's a couple of things that we touched on earlier that I'm going to kind of focus on a little bit more, but I wanted to get our websites out there again just to make sure you got it. My website is www.bravosellingteam.com, and Mike's website is www.mikeforloans, that's Mike, M-I-K-E-F-O-R, loans, L-O-A-N-S.com. Mm-hmm. So when you go to our website, actually, there's a couple of things. I'm doing a free giveaway about the top 10 things to look for when selling a property, and a separate handout for the top 10 things to look for when buying a property. So send me an email, and I will send you that free report. And then Mike, for free, can tell you what you're qualified for in terms of a refi or a purchase loan. So,
or if you have any other questions that you simply want to know how that factors in.
Absolutely.
Mike, I filed bankruptcy 2 years ago. Will that affect me? Or, whatever your question. I know my credit score is a little low. What can I qualify for? Any of those questions. There's usually fairly hard guidelines that decide what the answer to those questions is. So don't be shy to ask, and so you know exactly where you're positioned.
Absolutely. Great point, Mike. We are open to talking to anybody about anything, but absolutely ask us the most important questions that you have. You can contact us privately, and whatever your situation is, believe me, we know a lot between the two of us, and we really can help.
Yeah, we both have dealt with our fair share of celebrities here in Hollywood over the years, and confidentiality is the number one key factor in that set. So we retain high levels of confidentiality in all transactions. So you need not worry about us sharing any information with anybody or publicizing anything. That doesn't happen. So
exactly. And speaking of Southern California, there's a whole lot. I know some of our audience is way out, not only out of LA but out of California, and maybe even out of the country altogether. So what are some of the great things, Mike, that we can kind of relay to the audience about living in Southern California?
Oh my gosh! Well, I was born and raised here, and I just love Southern California. I went to school in San Diego, which is Southern California,
right.
But came back to the Los Angeles area, and I got married, raised a family, lived here ever since. And this area is not only the climate is so nice generally all the time, but there's just so much to do and see, and so many activities scheduled here, and it's a great place to live. And I don't particularly care for maybe some of the taxes we have to pay and so forth, but there's worse places to live, that's for sure.
Yeah, there are definitely worse places to live. One of the favorite spots for me is Malibu. I live just over the hill from Malibu, and it's a whole different world out there. It's a lot cooler than the basic LA and the Valley areas. But also there's a different vibe out there.
Yeah.
People are more chilled, they call it, more laid back. Some of the restaurants are dinky little places on PCH. PCH is Pacific Coast Highway. And there are some really quaint little restaurants and bars on PCH. That people just hang out and they talk about all kinds of things. People come with great cars, great motorcycles.
One of the things that Duncan and I have in common is we both enjoy sports cars, and the canyons in and around the Santa Monica Mountains that lead between the San Fernando Valley and Hollywood and so forth to PCH and Malibu and the coast is some fabulous canyons that we love to drive and share that experience with our friends and community, and it's just great. I've had some lifetime memories made just on Sunday drives going from the San Fernando Valley to Malibu, usually at a very high speed, but nevertheless, as long as they can't catch us, we're there.
Speaking of cars and stuff, I want to put a shout out to Dustin. He operates a car show once a week, right?
Yeah, every Sunday.
Every
Supercar Sunday.
Right. You can go to his website at supercarsunday.com, and he does it every Sunday morning. I think he starts like 7 o'clock in the morning. Cars start coming in. And this is one of the biggest free car shows you'll ever see. Hundreds of cars, all types. Old cars, new cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, old jalopies, things that are still in process. People are fixing up. Everything you could possibly imagine gets to this car show. So once again, it's www.supercarsunday.com, and Dustin Troyan is the guy that does this. He does it for free. He doesn't get any money from it, and it's such a great camaraderie kind of experience, you know. Yeah. For the most part, it's guys, but there's a lot of girls that come too. There are girls that work on cars, and some of the cool things I've seen, Mustang convertibles, and these girls, like, they baby their cars, and they're also very, very knowledgeable. There are some girls out there that work on their own engines, and it's just amazing. It's a great experience. Literally any kind of car you can imagine, you'll see at Supercar Sunday. So, and let me know if you have any questions. Send me an email, and I'd be happy to.
Speaking of celebrities, I mean, celebrities often come and they bring their cars too.
Right.
So.
Yeah. We see all kinds of people. It's one of those things where it's close enough that celebrities can come and stop by for a little while, see some of the cars, meet some people, and go on with their Sunday without taking up a whole lot of time out of their day. So
yeah, the whole thing's over. It starts at 7, and the whole thing's over by 10 o'clock. So
yeah, so you got to come early.
Yeah,
definitely come early.
Exactly.
A lot of the guys, have families too, so they want to. Sometimes they'll come just with their cars, but the whole family's still at home, so they still got to catch up with the family on Sunday and have the rest of their weekend. So yeah, and getting into cars. I mean, I think I started. From the time I was 16, I had at least 2 cars, and it just kept growing ever since. But my grandmother once said, well, I grew up in Sri Lanka, so not a whole lot of people with multiple cars in Sri Lanka. But once I got here, I just worked hard and started playing with different kinds of cars, and now I've got a nice collection of different cars. Some of the guys that I've met, the incredible things that they do with cars here. I think Southern California must be the car capital of the world, wouldn't you say?
I would think the weather conditions are such that it's a pleasure to own a car here. I had a sports car that I sold to a guy in New York. He bought it sight unseen, but he asked me about the rust on the sides of the fenders and so forth, and I said to him, "Rust? What rust? What are you talking about?" So he actually had me take pictures to verify that was the case, because in New York, in the winters and whatnot, they get the road salt and all that debris and so forth, and so it's special here. This community of SoCal is really special. It's a special place to live and work and thrive and raise a family. So we both raised our families here, and they've turned out okay.
Yeah, speaking of family, I had a pretty crazy experience in 2014. I was actually doing a photo shoot in Idlewild, which is at 7,000 feet elevation. And I do stuff, on TV and movies and stuff, but I also do print work. And so this was basically a modeling shoot for a drug company. And it was a 3-day shoot, and we were in Idlewild, which is 7,000 feet above sea level. 3-day shoot, and on the 3rd day, I was just at the snack table talking to one of the guys, And then all of a sudden, my heart stopped.
Literally
Stopped. It's known as sudden cardiac arrest. So as the heart stopped, I just keeled over and I was on the ground, already dead. Luckily, the makeup girl's husband, Michael, was there, and he knew CPR. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He wasn't part of the crew. He was just visiting his wife. And so Michael knew CPR, and he was strong enough to do what needed to be done to keep the oxygen going until the paramedics got there. So the paramedics get there. Luckily, it only took them 8 minutes to get to the site. And they paddled me. They got the heart to start, and I found out later my heart stopped 2 more times again in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. So technically, I died 3 times in one day. When I got to the hospital, they had to induce a coma just to keep me, from completely passing away. Put me on life support. I'm on breathing tubes, IV, the whole shot, and I'm in a coma. And after a few days, the doctors were telling my wife, this is really, really bad. In cases like this, we usually lose the patient, so get ready to bury him because he's probably going to die. That was the word from the specialist to my wife. Well, my wife didn't give up. My kids didn't give up. All my friends were praying for me. Friends, family, everybody was praying for me literally all around the world. And then on the 7th day, all of a sudden, my eyes fluttered and I started breathing on my own, and I came out of the coma on the 7th day, flat on my back in the hospital. I didn't know what the heck just happened. I thought I must have just gone in for a checkup or something and fallen asleep. Yeah, I woke up 7 days later in the hospital, and then they're telling me what had happened. I couldn't remember actually the first couple of days before the incident, and then I had to be at UCLA. They transferred me to UCLA, put in a defibrillator in my chest. In case the heart tries to stop, it'll kickstart the heart. And so I had to be at UCLA for a while, and then they transferred me to a place in Bakersfield. And this was about retraining the brain and memory and physical coordination and all that stuff. After a coma, there's a lot to deal with. So I was in Bakersfield for a while, and it was 6 months before I could sleep in my own bed in my own house. So 6 months later, I'm ready to tackle the world. Basically, I've been let's say knocked down, but not knocked out, and it has been quite the challenge, really, to coming back to 100% after what has happened. But there's one thing that, lying in the hospital flat on my back, you really, didn't want to get emotional about this, but you really start to appreciate what matters, in life. Your family, your friends, those are the things you think about. When you almost lost everything and you come back.
Yeah.
So, just a message, to appreciate everything you've got, because you never know. It could be a car accident, it could be a sudden cardiac arrest that just comes out of nowhere with no warning. So just live your life the best you can, and be good to people. You really never know what's going to happen and when. Mike and I are both of the belief that we really want to help people and do the right thing for people. We are in it for the people that we work for and work with, and they become like family to us. I can't even begin to tell you how many of my clients have now become very close personal friends. They invite me to the bar mitzvahs and the funerals and the baby showers, and it really brings a whole new and bigger aspect to our lives because of what we do and the fact that we really do help people with their lives.
So I would say, do business as you go through your life. Do business with people you know, like, and trust. Hopefully, through this process, you're getting to know Duncan and myself a little bit better, and you just heard a pretty emotional story from what he's been through. There's only one direction for him, and that's to look out and make life better for everybody else. Because for whatever reason, God has given you, like you said, a third chance at making all this right. So it's so important. If you're thinking about buying a house, or you're thinking about listing a house, or doing some monumental event in your lifetime that involves real estate, we'd appreciate a call because, honestly, we're here to help. And given Duncan's story, you don't know what tomorrow may bring. So why put off to tomorrow what you can get done today? I would strongly suggest if you're thinking about buying a house or listing a house that you call us, reach out and say, what can I do? What do I qualify for? What might I get? What kind of costs might I expect? And we're not afraid to discuss costs of our services and all that. It's all well in line with industry standards, and it's important to bring that conversation up. Don't let that harbor in a closet somewhere. Bring that up. Ask us the question: how much does it cost for this? Whether it's buying a home, selling a home, getting a loan. There's going to be costs. Even those who advertise there are no costs. Trust me, there are costs. So it's just how you're paying for those costs is really the question. So
yeah, there are loan people that hide fees in places you wouldn't even know to look. And that's not the way we do business. We're very transparent. We're very upfront,
right.
And we're really in it to help our clients. So we want to make sure you have a fantastic experience with us, and you'll refer us to your friends and family, and ultimately, that even makes it better.
That's what it's about for us. I mean, I do, and I think you do too. Business referral is the primary source of all my clients. So referrals from people that have used my services in the past, people come back numerous times over the years, come back because they know me, they trust me, they know that everything will be squared up with them and that they're going to get what they bargained for. And it's so important that you learn how to rely on those kinds of referrals, and for us, we have to do good business. We won't get those referrals, so it's very important.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up. Once again, our websites are www.bravosellingteam.com and mikeforloans.com. Thank you very much for joining us on SoCal Focus. Take care.
Ciao.